This technique, I'm not exactly sure what to call it. It doesn't have like an official name, I don't think, but it's basically doing left hand pizzicato while playing with your bow. So something like this. So I'm holding down an A that I'm playing with my bow and then plucking my D string with my middle finger. There's a lot of different iterations that you can do with this. You can bow an open string while plucking a closed string, so something like this. Or you can bow a closed string while plucking an open string, so something like this. I would practice as many different um, 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 iterations of that as I can think of. So if I would start by just doing open strings. So let's say bowing an open A while plucking an open G. So I'm trying to keep a nice, steady, consistent tone with my bow hand, and then a steady beat with my left hand. It takes a little different dexterity to do these left hand pizzicato. That's why I'm such a big advocate of having more technique than what you need. So then after I just experiment with open strings, I would pick one and I would say, okay, I'm gonna do open string with the bow and close with the left hand. So I do first and second, then I would try second and fourth, closing with second and plucking with fourth, which is a little trickier. And then I would say, okay, I'm going to close the note that I'm bowing, but pluck an open string, so like this. And then I would close with my second finger, close with my fourth finger, and pluck with my second. So you can see how you can do so many different variations on which fingers are closing, which fingers are plucking. The more you can practice different ways to do this, the better off you'll be. I do it with a metronome to make sure that my left hand, no matter what finger I'm trying to left hand pluck with, is steady. Fourth finger obviously is one of the hardest ones because it's a weaker finger. So building that muscle and that control will take some time. When you're bowing, because you're also plucking, that can kind of cause some weird vibrations in the instrument, and so sometimes the bow can get a little funky. Keeping it steady and consistent on the string can get a little more challenging as you're plucking, especially if you're plucking something that's dissonant, like a minor second, an octave above whatever you're bowing, or something like that. That can add some weird vibrations to interact on the instrument. So the more you can control you can have over your bow will help the tone stay consistent, if that makes sense. I see this technique all the time. I mean, I think it's in for double bass alone. It's in a solo piece by Victor Sussland. It's a really common one. The more dexterity you can have with your left hand plucking different notes and closing different ones, and making sure you're having tunnels with your fingers that aren't interacting with the open strings. Like if you're bowing an open string and trying to close and pluck a string below that open string, kind of crossing, it feels kind of different. So the weirder combinations you can make up, the more you can try to tie your hands in knots to practice this technique, I think the better off you'll be. More technique than what you need. I'm a firm believer in you can never have too much technique, so that when you're improvising, when you're presented with a new piece, you just have all these tools that you can whip out without even thinking. That's the goal, I think, with technique, especially since I do a lot of improvisation. It's just how many tools can I acquire, how much dexterity and flexibility can I get in my fingers and my wrists in order to make as many different sounds as I can imagine. And I think technique is the key to that, and practicing deliberately and slowly and with a metronome can help you develop greater control over your hands. Even if you never in your life do what you practice in the practice room, I think it can only help. I think the more technique you have, I think that can only help you. But that's all I got for left hand plucking with bowing, I guess is what I'll call this one. And go have fun with that one.